yourselves out into those who want to be on that side of the rope and those who want to be on this side of the rope, those who want to sort of back out of the edges here. We're going to actually begin. I don't know what I'd do without you, Ron. All right, we do not quite. We do. Now, do we have a quorum? No, we're one short. We do not quite have a quorum, but we have many, many presentations today. Anytime you're ready over here. We have, as you know, today is Pioneer Women Day, and so we will have every council member making a presentation to one of the Pioneer Women. We also have a number of other presentations. And so in the interests of finishing all of this in daylight, I suggest that we get started now, and I'm going to begin by recognizing Mr. Hernandez for a presentation. It says here you have two, by the way. Zach.
Madam Chair, I have two presentations. The mayor wants to join me on one, so while he's on his way down right now, I will make the other one, and then hopefully he'll get
He's late too, since the meeting's supposed to start at 10.
Okay. Glad you said that and not me, Madam President.
I just thought I'd mention it. We're supposed to start at 10 o'clock. It's now 10:20.
Members of the council, today it's my honor to recognize another great woman in the city of Los Angeles for her work in trying to preserve the Latino heritage and her work with Latino Heritage Month. And they're putting up some real special pictures here in front of you right now that I want everybody to take the time to kind of look at. You know, when you're a kid growing up in Los Angeles, you're continuously looking for role models. And sometimes they're right in front of you on your TV set. And the problem is you might not think that they're like you because they have a different name. And in Hollywood, a lot of the actors and that have basically have been very renowned were Latinos, and we just didn't know it. And so one of the things that happens during Latino Heritage Month has been a pictorial of basically Latinos in Hollywood. And I'd like to call up Alicia Enciso if I could, because she's the chair of Latinos in Hollywood, and the rest of her volunteers, they'll come up a second.
Thanks, Councilman.
I wanted to start by thanking them for their hard work and the many hours they put into their own time to make the event happen every year. It's very important during this council transition that we continue working with Latino Heritage Month Committee. And these volunteers basically work on showcasing our heritage. Latinos in Hollywood is a lavish pictorial exhibit highlighting the history, achievements, and participations of Latinos in Hollywood films and the television industry from the early beginnings to the present. It's been dramatically illustrated through a progression of 160 photographs, not only of actors and extras, but also the behind-the-scene personnel, writers, choreographers, and directors. The Latinos in Hollywood project became a real labor of love, and the collection grew from 40 photos the first year to over 160 by its 5th anniversary, and that was last September. The dedication and volunteers of the committee is well represented. It involved city employees, community volunteers, actors, and talent in small business, and some corporate representatives. It was their giving of personal time and love for our culture and the arts that established the celebration of Latinos in Hollywood. So once again, I'd like to congratulate Alicia Enciso and ask her to say a few words, but before she does that, well, I'll ask her to say a few words and then I'll give you the certificate of appreciation.
Thank you, Councilman. I want to thank all of you, all the council people here, because we worked all together on this project. And I want to thank the mayor for appointing Rocky Delgadillo to oversee Latino Heritage Month, and Mike for taking the time to recognize the individuals here. This is only but a few of the men and women that have helped over the last 5 years to grow this collection that represents the positive contributions of Latinos in Hollywood. I'd like to name a few of them that are present so that we don't acknowledge everyone. John Reynoso, my vice chair, Jerry Velasco, Sara Mijares, Luis Reyes, who is the main archivist of the collection, Jeanette Rondeau, our curator, Luis Avalos, an actor, director, producer who from the beginning was really supportive of the project. We have young Mijares, who is also a great volunteer. Dora Gill from Serrano Associates, who helped us a lot. Val Zavala, part of the media. Rick Munoz helped us produce a great event at the Skirball Cultural Center. This event has gone from Alvaro Street to the Pico House to the Skirball to LA Cal State, partly because we want everyone to be aware of the contributions of Latinos in Hollywood and our community at large. So we want to thank all of you for taking this time to recognize the team. Thank you very much.
There for exhibit? Okay. I wanted to present two certificates of appreciation at this time. One is for Alicia Enciso, and I'll basically read what it says. Latinos in Hollywood is a lavish pictorial exhibit highlighting the history and achievements and participation of Latinos in Hollywood film and television industry from its early beginnings to the present. And on behalf of the Los Angeles City Council, I thank you for keeping the memories alive of these pioneers in the entertainment industry with their unique talents and generous spirit. They have culturally enriched millions of people throughout the world. Thank you, Alicia. And I have another certificate I'd also like to present to John Reynoso, who's the 2000 Vice Chair. John. Thank you very
much. Luis Reyes talk about the importance of the collection. The importance of the collection.
I first of all want to thank you, Councilman Mike Hernandez, the council, and thank you so much for this opportunity. These pictures represent the images of a people, and they represent an image of a people that applies to all of us, to our entire community, which each day is hopefully more together in one city. So as far as this concern, and to the woman who really has made this all possible, Alicia Enciso, thank you very much y muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much. And I was just sharing with Luis Avalos that I'm buying a PT Cruiser. Now that I'm not going to be a council member.
Hey, Mike, hang on one second. We actually have a quorum, so we can make all of this official.
Okay.
So let's just call the roll, and then all of this becomes official. Go ahead, call the roll.
Ernst, Chick, Fuhrer, Galantro, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Pacheco, Padilla, Ridley, Thomas, Florence, Wax, Walters, Ferraro, 10 members present, and quorum, Madam President.
All right, thank you. This is now officially a meeting of the Los Angeles City Council on Friday, April 6th. Mr. Hernandez.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I was just announcing everybody I'm buying a PT Cruiser, and I'm naming it Paquito. And Luis Avila's every Christmas has a very special play in Pasadena at the convention center called Paquito's Christmas that he does for a lot of children in the city. So again, I want to recognize him for that. I think the mayor is here now, and I'd like to call up my next Latino to make a presentation to Eric Carroll's. Madam Chair, members of the council, I seem a little bubbly today. It's because I feel like a little kid. But before I say my few words, it's my pleasure to introduce the mayor of the city of Los Angeles, because I'd like to give the mayor the opportunity to say something about Eric. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I start, just a little bit of news. A few minutes ago, PG&E filed bankruptcy. And this, since the city is owed $200 million by them, this is very important to us. But I'm here this morning to honor a very, very special man, a special resident of the Los Angeles area, and a great, great athlete and a great philanthropist. Eric Karros became the Dodgers' all-time home run hitter when he hit his 229th home run on June 13, 2000. He became the third Dodger to register 500 or more extra base hits in his career when he homered on August 2nd last year versus Montreal. He became the first player in Dodger history to homer twice in one inning when he hit 2 in the 6th inning on August 22nd. He knocked in 100-plus runs for the 5th time in his career last year, and it goes on and on. But the thing I'm most impressed with, Alex, is what Eric, I call him Alex. Thanks, Mike. Because I'm jealous. The thing I'm most impressed about, Eric, is what you are doing for your community. After you graduated from UCLA in economics, you went to Patrick Henry High School, you went into the Dodger organization, but since then you've endowed a baseball scholarship at UCLA. You have been honored by the board of St. Francis Medical Center. You contribute $350 per each home run you hit to that charity, and we hope you hit about 2,000 home runs. You put on a celebrity golf tournament to raise funds for the medical center. You also donated $250 for every home run you hit in 1993 to cancer research in the name of Aaron Lessa, an 11-year-old boy from the Eagle Rock area who died from cancer. You've chaired the Dodgers 65 Rose Club to raise money for cystic fibrosis. And you were named the Big Brother of the Year by the Big Brothers of Greater Los Angeles in 1995. Eric, I'm proud to have you here as an Angelino. I'm proud you're a Dodger. I'm honored to give you, with the City Council, this proclamation naming you the greatest philanthropist of the year in the city of Los Angeles. Eric Karros.
Madam Chair, members of the council, and I think the mayor's previous little boo-boo was because Alex Padilla is probably the best baseball player we have on the council. But at the same time, I just wanted to recognize Eric Karros because Wednesday night I saw 2 shots hit to first base, different innings, and he didn't catch either one. They bounced off his body. He picked them up and still got the guy out, both times. And that's part of the hazards of being a first baseman. What you need to understand, he is the Los Angeles Dodgers home run king. Not the Brooklyn Dodgers, the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's our Dodger. And there's a certain air in the wind this year that, and I believe the Dodgers are going to go all the way. And I'm willing to say that today. But it was in 1992 when he was the Rookie of the Year. And again, a graduate of UCLA. And there's no question in my mind that we're talking about an Angelino. And again, with that, I also join the mayor in congratulating Eric Karros. And today, the mayor did declare it Eric Karros Day in Los Angeles. He gets to do that, not me. So I thank you for that, Mr. Mayor.
You asked.
Hang on, we've got 2 more council members at least who want to say something before we finish this up. Mr. Padilla.
Thank you very much, Madam President. A couple of things, and I'll try to make it quick. First of all, as a former ball player, never close to the professional or the major leagues, but my respects to Eric, not just for his success on the field, but obviously his success off the field. His not only reputation, but we only had a chance to meet briefly, but everybody tells me he's just a great, great guy. And in this era of professional sports and multi-billionaire ball players, right, Mr. Wax? Gazillionaire ball players. It's good to know that there's also good people who can serve as role models as professional athletes, and I think Eric just encapsulates all of that. Certainly he's a Los Angeles Dodger home run king, but I also like to point out that before Mike Piazza, before Raul Mondesi, before Hideo Nomo, Eric was the Rookie of the Year for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And finally, on behalf of all the women in my office, just a little disappointment, I guess, that you didn't show up in uniform. Thank you and congratulations.
Mr. Burnson.
Yes, I'd like to add my congratulations to Eric. My wife and I are baseball fans, Dodger fans from the beginning. And basically, Eric, you're almost all that's left of the original Dodgers, but we're really happy that you're still there. And we wish you the best. And my wife, you're my wife's favorite Dodger. I want you to know that. So I play second fiddle to you whenever the TV is on or we're at the ballpark. I just want to correct the mayor. Patrick Henry is a junior high school in the 12th district, right? Where did you attend high school?
The mayor was right about that, Patrick Henry in San Diego. So I'll get him on the Alex, but...
The mayor is never right. Anyway, congratulations to you and have a great season, Eric. We're in your corner.
I'd like to say just a few words, make this quick here. I'd like to thank the mayor, Councilman Hernandez, and the city council for this great honor. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to play my entire career in Los Angeles in front of the great fans, arguably the best fans in all of baseball. I feel being in the public eye and being with the Los Angeles Dodger organization, we have civic responsibilities, and we will, as athletes and as public figures, try to continue both active and positive roles in the community. I hope that the next time I'm standing before you, we're celebrating a World's Championship, because that's what this city deserves, that's what the people deserve, and we're working for it. We really are. Again, I want to thank everybody for the kind words, and most of all for your continued support of the Los Angeles Dodger organization. Like I said, we hope to make you real proud this year to be Angelinos. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Mr. Fewer for a presentation. Just to remind you, we're going to do all the non-Pioneer Women ones first, and then we'll come back around and do all the Pioneer Women.
If I could, I'd like to ask our colleague, Ms. Mizikowski, who chairs the Public Safety Committee, to join me. And is Lillian Brock and her team here? Can you bring the team up, please? Michelle Hayes and Kenneth Bruce Yasaki and Celine Kingsland, please. Ms. Mizikowski is caught in Caro's traffic, so we'll... Madam President, members of the council, it's our pleasure this morning to be able to recognize true heroes in the city of Los Angeles. We're here on the eve of a very special week, National Dispatchers Week. Every resident of our city turns to our operators, our public service representatives who staff the 911 center thousands and thousands of times a week, millions of times a year. They turn to our dispatchers with the most critical issues they've probably ever faced. True emergencies. They also, as we're learning, to turn to our 911 system for non-emergencies, and we're working on that as well. But today we're focused on the emergencies. What a stressful job it would be to have to respond in a moment of crisis when a mother with a choking child calls asking for help, when a spouse calls because their husband or wife is having a heart attack, when there is a true public safety emergency, a burglar coming into the house. Well, that's the job of our public service representatives every day. They're extraordinary people. They make the difference between life and death. Before I am privileged to share with Ms. Mizikowski the opportunity of presenting to some very special public service representatives recognition from all of us in the city, I'd like to ask Cindy Mizikowski, who chairs our Public Safety Committee, to share a few words.
Thank you, Mike. I'm really pleased to be up here. And as Mike has said, these are the voices they're representing today that we first hear, that we first depend on when we make those crucial 911 calls. And it's so nice today to hear and see the faces behind those voices. And I know that the council has been very concerned because the conditions that our dispatchers have had to work in for many years has not been pleasant. In addition to the stress that they are under just naturally as a consequence of what they deal with, they haven't had a great working environment. And I know the council has put its efforts behind helping to create a new environment for them to work in, and we will very shortly be dedicating the new dispatch center here right next to Parker Center. But I am really, really pleased that we have these representatives here today because they do represent so many men and women who provide such valuable service. In fact, so much so that just recently, as the council is also aware, we are about to embark on a new recruitment advertising campaign. And we have asked the police department not only to do recruiting for officers, but to show the valuable service that our PSRs provide in the overall plan of LAPD. They are a part of LAPD, a vital part of LAPD, and we need to recognize them as part of our family, and we're going to include them in our recruitment campaign as well, because it is a team, and as I say, probably the most important and first level of the team that so often our public reaches and gets that comfort, aid, and assistance in a very, very critical situation.
Thank you, Ms. Mizikowski. The police service representatives chose 3 of their own for this special recognition this morning. And I want to begin with acknowledging Michelle Hayes. Michelle, could you step forward, please? Michelle has been with the City of Los Angeles for over a decade, since 1989. She's been a police service representative since 1995. She was chosen in part because she's got a marvelous attitude. It's a contagious, can-do attitude, improving morale in the dispatch center. She's sensitive not only to her colleagues, but to the public whom she serves. She was honored for her role in one of the most defining events of the last few years in the city, the North Hollywood shootout. She provided critical suspect information to officers in the field. She is a role model. She's trusted by her peers. She's depended upon by everyone. Michelle Hayes, it is really a privilege for Ms. Mizikowski and I to be able to present to you this resolution acknowledging your significant role in making this city a safe place, a better place. Congratulations. Ms. Mizikowski and I are saying if we could have fan clubs like that, what a difference the city would be. Now it's our honor to be able to recognize Kenneth Bruce Yasaki. He's been a police service representative since 1990. Through the civil unrest, the earthquake, floods, and major storms, you brought good luck to the city, Ken. That's a good thing. He has consistently distinguished himself with his highly professional demeanor, his exceptionally courteous attitude, and his almost perfect attendance record in conditions in which very few of us would choose to work. But our police service representatives choose to work there because of their commitment to everybody in the city. He's truly excelled, and he was appointed to the position of PSR instructor in 1994. He's risen to the challenge of that demanding job. He's a mentor to many police service representatives. He's also been a member of the Communications Division Baker to Vegas running team for 4 years. He ran in the 2000 LA Marathon and founded the Communications Division Gold Team. For a variety of outstanding achievements, Kenneth, it's really our privilege to be able to acknowledge your contribution to making our police service representative team as effective as it is. Congratulations. Finally, if we could ask Celine Kingsland to step forward. Celine has worked for the city for 12 years. And you know, one thing we keep talking about the amount of service our police service representatives who are being honored this morning have to the city. This is a job which many people turn to and then unfortunately have left sometimes quickly because it is such a stressful thing. And it's really quite a distinguishing mark for our police service representatives to have been with us for a decade or longer. It really shows a degree of perseverance and commitment that's extraordinary. I wanted to say that again. She has a calm, collected demeanor, strong leadership skills, and always does her job with a high level of professionalism. She's always demonstrated outstanding teamwork, and when the Central Dispatch Center had to be evacuated briefly due to technical difficulties, she stepped to the plate and made things okay. Her performance was exemplary during the civil unrest and the police department mobilization in 1993. She, as with the other 2 PSRs we've honored this morning, is exceptionally highly regarded by her peers and deserves strong recognition from all of us in the city for your extraordinary work. Congratulations, Celine. Mr. President, as we conclude this presentation, Lillian, do you want to say anything?
I'm just honored to have them as employees down in communications. They do a great job.
Okay.
Chair
I got it.
recognizes Councilwoman Chick for a moment.
May I just, I almost think it should be a requirement of every elected official in the city of Los Angeles to go down and visit our central dispatch operations, because not only is the work that they do incredibly difficult and important, and stressful, but the work environment that they work in is so substandard that they deserve medals just for that. And it's just one more reason why we need to hurry up on our 911 project that should be done already. Thank you for what you do.
Mr. President, let's also take this opportunity as we conclude to remind members of the public that we have in place a phone number, 877-ASK-LAPD. It's a crucial number because well over 80% of public calls to 911 are not for emergencies. That causes members of the public with genuine emergencies to have some delays sometimes in response to what they are calling about. Please, if you have an important issue for police but it's not an emergency, call 877-ASK-LAPD. Good luck. Congratulations to all of you who are here. Continued success.
Thank you, Councilman Pure. The chair recognizes Council President Pro Tem Galanter.
Come on up, Bill. Both bills. Thank you, Mr. President. We're going to sort of switch gears here for a minute and once again find ourselves, having thanked our continuing city employees, congratulating and thanking one of our longtime city employees who is leaving us. Bill Mercer, who it turns out actually has a first name. What is your first name? Charles. C. William Mercer. Anybody know that before? Bill Mercer has been with the city family since 1970, about the time I moved to Los Angeles. All 31 of those years, he's been working for the CAO's office, which is now called the Office of Administrative and Research Services. I can't help it. It abbreviates as ORS. I always feel like they're the ones who paddle the boat. He started out as a junior administrative assistant, and he's retiring as a chief administrative analyst. In the course of this 31 years, as you can imagine, Bill has worked on an enormous number of projects here in the city. He played a major role in initiating, defining, implementing, and monitoring such projects as the $220 million rehabilitation and expansion of the Los Angeles Library. He was involved, and 62 branch libraries, by the way, Central Library Rehabilitation and all those branch libraries that we're still working on. $500 million expansion of the Los Angeles Convention Center, $272 million City Hall seismic rehab project, the Fire Life Safety Program, $70 million program to, you spent a lot of money, didn't you? Yeah. $70 million program to improve the Civic Center and Van Nuys and San Pedro City Halls. $205 million police facilities program, the $120 million zoo facilities program, $580 million fire and animals. It goes on and on and on. I'm not going to bore you by reading all of this stuff, 31 years worth. But Bill's job, on behalf of all of us and all the residents of Los Angeles, was to make sure that that money was spent the way it was supposed to be spent, that it was spent on time, and that the projects that were built were good value for the money. And for those of you who have been to any of those places, the Central Library, the 62 branch libraries, and on and on and on, you know that Bill worked really hard to make sure we got what we were paying for. He was a major participant in implementing the LA for Kids program. We'll be here all day if I read all this stuff. But in addition to all the capital projects, Bill is a man of many talents, as you have to be in that office. It sounds very bureaucratic and boring, but one of the things you have to do is you have to work out with all of our city employees the conditions of the agreements under which they work. And Bill's job was to assist in implementing the meet and confer process with our city unions, acting as the city's lead spokesperson in many successful contract negotiations with a very diverse workforce. Our workforce does a lot of, I don't mean just ethnically diverse, I mean diverse in terms of the kinds of work that they do. So they all have very different concerns along with some common concerns, and Bill had to get in there and work it out with all of them over all those issues. He also developed the city's deferred compensation program, which I know a number of council members participate in, the city's bilingual pay program, and the city's retirement benefit structure for non-sworn employees. And he's responsible for the development of a new pension system for future police and fire hires, and the development of reforms in the pension investment program. And so you can understand why he's ready to retire. So, Bill, it is, as I told you, it's not exactly a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be the person to honor you and thank you for your years of service. It's not exactly a pleasure to see you go, but I do want to thank you on behalf of the 3.5 million of us who have benefited from your service, and wish you a very happy and healthy and long and fun retirement. Now, before you get to unload all those things you couldn't say for 31 years, we're going to hear from Mr. Fujioka, and then we're going to introduce your wife, and then you can say whatever you like.
I'll keep my comments very brief. I won't restate the many accomplishments of Bill, but I want to say that Bill, I think he epitomizes the strength and character of you find every day in city employees. It's the person who's behind the scenes that makes things happen. He's clearly left his mark on the city, and we accuse him sometime of going and writing his name in cement at all these city buildings. But I want to take the time to offer my personal thanks, because in the 18, 19 something months I've been in the CEO, he's been absolutely critical to whatever success we've had. But thank you very much.
Before you begin, there are some council members that want to say a few kind words. Mr. Feuer? Chair
Mr.
recognizes
Feuer, are you,
Councilman Feuer.
otherwise I'm going to turn him loose.
Yes, Mr. Mercer, what I wanted to say, Bill, is this. Not only, as Ms. Galanter has so well stated, have you been integral to the success of so many projects that she's named, but I remember when I first came to the council and we were talking very seriously about the problems that we were confronting in effectively building our capital projects, especially our bond-funded projects, on time and on budget. And we had a number of discussions, both publicly and privately, and you were extraordinary in providing a real leadership role in refashioning the way we spend the public's money, because all of us are riveted on keeping the promises that we make to members of the public when they pay bond-funded tax dollars to get our capital projects up and running. And you helped to change, in a very meaningful way, the way we do those projects, to assure that we have people who can say no at the top of the charts and a strong project management team. And we're instrumental in being more even creative than that, with ideas that have sometimes yet to come to fruition about what might yet be around the corner. So thank you very much for not just being effective at doing your job every day, but for looking around corners and trying to identify ways to completely restructure the way we do this important work. We're going to miss you a lot. You're a tell it like it is, direct guy with a lot of skill. Good luck in the next phase of your life.
Thank you, Councilman. The chair recognizes Councilman Ridley Thomas.
Mr. President, members of the council, I rise simply to acknowledge the work of Bill Mercer, marked by dutifulness, diligence, competence, and a high degree of integrity. I've had any number of occasions to watch the rather unassuming but equally effective way in which Bill has carried out his various tasks since I've been here, most notably the work around the Exposition Park piece and protecting the city's interest in Exposition Park. And I simply want to say that your sense of public service is well etched into my consciousness with a great degree of admiration and respect. Godspeed to you, Bill.
Thank you, Councilman. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Walters.
Thank you. I just wanted to add my words of best wishes to Bill. I can't see him, but I know he's over there. Oh, there he is, over there. I really have a great deal of respect for you and the work that you perform and the very professional way in which you perform it. I think it's the city's loss that you will be leaving, and we appreciate very much the years of service of excellent service that you have given this city.
Thank you, Councilwoman. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Chick.
Well, everyone has pointed out some of the things I would have said, but I just want to make sure that we know where to find you. There's a potential consultant's job waiting in a certain office after July 1st. Thank you.
Wait.
There we go. That concludes council members' comments.
Your turn.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate all the kind comments. If I sound funny today, there's a little congestion, so I'll be short. Ms. Galanter, thank you. Council members, thank you. I'd like to introduce my wife, Karen. We've been married for 35 years, and major reason for this retirement is so that we can start spending much more time together. I've enjoyed my career. It's amazing that it has been over 30 years already. The good parts of the job are that it's always been challenging. I can't take the kind of credit that this resolution gives for, it sounds like single-handedly I may have gone out with a hammer and constructed these things. I did not do that. There were teams involved with all of the work, and I was just one of many. The best part of the job I haven't enjoyed for the last 10 years, and that was frequently coming before you or your committees to make presentations. Once I had a staff and they started going, I missed that part of it. It's always been fun to sit in that table and go through the gyrations we have gone, even when we were doing the Central Library project years ago. Meeting with you, working with you on your projects, and also working with the CAO staff and other members of the city family have been a great pleasure, and I'm sure I'm going to miss that part of this activity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam President. We do have a few more presentations. However, at the request of a council member who is excused, I would like to recognize Councilman Wax, who has a presentation as part of the Pioneer Woman of the Year Award. So, Chair recognizes Councilman Wax.
Mr. President, members of council, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to take this out of order. I have to do a half-hour interview at NBC, and I can't be late. And I came in only because of the importance I put on the pioneer women and what they mean to this city. And today I have the honor, actually, of making two presentations. My nominee, the extraordinary Lori Dinkin, and on behalf of Council President John Ferraro, who personally asked if I would present his nominee, Mary Rodriguez. And I do so with enormous pleasure and enormous pride as you go through this city and just see how many good things people do on behalf of their communities, on behalf of their neighborhoods, and for their city. You really know that the pioneer women really reflect the best of Los Angeles. They really show the goodness of people and just how significant people are and how much they're willing to contribute and devote themselves to improving the life of other people in our city. I think that Pioneer Women Day is always one of the most exciting and most inspiring days that we have here in City Hall, because it brings out the best in people and it shows the best in people. And certainly the 15 nominees today, I know all of whom are extraordinary women, as I read their backgrounds and had a chance to be introduced to them. Make this city and all of us here, I think, very, very proud. I'd like if Lori Dinkin would first come up, because Lori is very much in some ways like the other people. Her background is quite interesting. She came to this country fleeing persecution from the Nazis in 1939. And like so many people who came to America for a better life and a land of possibility and a land of freedom, immediately began to live by the credo of giving back to the country that gave her the opportunity to live a life, a full life and a free life. And in so many ways, through her contributions to her charities in the community, and they've been endless, to the synagogue, to political campaigns, even going back to Jim Corman, Adlai Stevenson, and John F. Kennedy, to her work as a wage earner in Permanente and as a teacher at the religious school at Avat Shalom. She has this wide range of activities that indicate a person whose life is focused more on giving back than receiving. The area that I chose to focus on, however, was her work in building neighborhoods and her work in building communities. You know how much I've spoken about that, and how I think that relates to the importance of this city, of becoming a family of neighborhoods. When I first became councilman, Valley Village wasn't recognized as a neighborhood. It was a part of North Hollywood. But in the late 1980s, Lori and some other people in the community decided to reclaim that community for themselves and to create a sense of community and identity in the most positive way. And of course, they started with the name and reclaimed the name Valley Village. But they went way beyond that. They began to work as volunteers, working side by side in beautifying the community, in getting rid of all the billboards, in planting and in landscaping, in starting a 4th of July parade, and getting a sound wall, and working with the police department. They went from 90 households to now almost 700 households. And then they developed, and we worked so closely together on a specific plan that would not only provide the guidelines for development in the community, but the framework for which the community identity would take place. And they've developed within this large city a sort of small town feeling, a sense of neighborhood, a sense of community, where people work side by side in the neighborhood to improve the quality of life for all. And Lori Dinkin has been the driving force of doing that. And in doing so, she has not only done it for Valley Village, but she has been a prescient force, I think, for what we want to see in the future of Los Angeles, of building neighborhoods and building communities. And for that, and for her work, which is not only so significant to our community, but I think to communities throughout the city as we begin to develop the neighborhood council form of government in Los Angeles, I think that Lori Dinkin really is a pioneer and deserves to be recognized as Pioneer Woman of the Year from the 2nd District. So Lori, it's just a great honor. You know you're someone that is very dear and very special to me, and it's my honor to have nominated you and to be able to present this to you. And I actually have some flowers on my desk, which I was in such a hurry I will bring to you in a minute. But let me present this to you and ask if you might say a few words to the council.
Madam President?
First of all, I want to...
Mike wants to say something.
Okay. Oh,
Madam President,
sorry.
Lori, before you speak, just for a minute, Joel and I share you in many ways, and I have to say, it has been for the last 6 years a real privilege to be able to work with you so closely on so many neighborhood issues. Joel delineated most of them, and time is short, but I just wanted to rise for half a second to say how thoroughly I've enjoyed our working relationship over the years, and to thank you for your tremendous commitment to the community, as Joel has described, and to all of us in the city. Good luck and congratulations. This is a well-earned bit of recognition this morning, Lori.
I want to thank you very, very much for getting this honor. Usually I come down here fighting City Hall, and this is truly a privilege. I wish my husband could be here, but my children are here, and that's very important, and my close friends. And I continue to work and to better the community. I also work for Skirball as a volunteer, which I love and cherish, and I feel that communities are villages, and we try to have our village feeling and old-fashioned feeling for one another and neighbors, and I hope that we can that I have many more years to work, and I thank you for this great honor. Thank you very much.
And thank you. And Mr. President, it's now my honor to ask Mary Rodriguez to step forward, because I'm really pleased that Councilman Ferraro would ask if I would present her recognition to her, because I couldn't imagine a more worthy person. Like Lori and like the other 13 nominees, Mary has a background of incredible community activity in so many activities. In law enforcement, is trying to develop the kind of partnerships that are needed in this city between community and the police. As a member of her CPAB in the Northeast Division, as well as a block captain for Neighborhood Watch. As an active member of the Las Feliz Improvement Association, which is one of the most active and effective associations of its kind in this city, and certainly in working with the schools. And therein lies the story that excites me, because in addition to neighborhoods, Mary represents my other great love, and that's the arts and culture, and the importance of the arts and culture in our city, in our society, and as a part of the educational system itself, so that the young people of our city are able to expose themselves and have the arts as an enriching part of their lives. Her work at Thomas Starr King Middle School, in terms of improving that school, started with the more traditional things of beautifying it and cleaning it up, but interestingly, in doing that, having a mural painted and restoring a historic statue and others. But it has been so successful that in July, Thomas Starr King is going to incorporate a new gifted high ability technology arts magnet school for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders at Thomas Starr King. That to me is incredibly exciting. That to me offers those young people an opportunity to discover who they are and to use their creativity in the most positive ways, not only in enriching their lives, but as a learning tool and as a way of exploring and expanding the potential futures that they have. And I think that your efforts in bringing this about is going to have such an important impact on so many young people in the years ahead that it seems so fitting that you be selected by Council President Ferraro to be the nominee for embodying the idea that you can make a difference and a positive change in people's lives, and that each of us are given that opportunity, and you have so grasped it and so done it so well that, Mary, I am absolutely delighted on behalf of Council President Ferraro to present this to you in a very grateful city for all the work that you've done and continue to do.
Thank you very much. I think it's so crucial that LA Unify recognize there has to be a balance between the academics and the arts. It's the only way to become a whole person. And I'm very excited about this magnet program. I think it's going to be very successful. I also am very happy that we did restore this statue in the middle of the school. It's a beautiful statue, 1936 WPA statue. It was in terrible condition. And with all my projects, I've been able to get help from the city through the Neighborhood Matching Fund Grant, which I think has been so successful throughout all of Los Angeles for everything that we want to do in our communities. And I hope that it continues and that it grows. And I thank you very much.
Chair recognizes Mr. Padilla. I'm sorry, Cindy, we're not quite done with the non-Pioneer ones. Actually, I should warn you all, for those who have particular time constraints, Mr. Padilla is next with one presentation. Mr. Burnson has one. Ms. Walters has 3. And then we are going into the 2. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, and the other one's the Pioneer Women. Okay, then we'll do the Pioneer Women. I promised Ms. Miskowski's honoree, who has to be elsewhere, that we would take that one first, and then we'll go in district order after that. Mr. Padilla.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, this is council chambers, where we do the work of the people. And an important part of our democracy are the checks and balances that we have built in to our governmental structure. But an important part of that democracy and people's ability to participate is whether or not they're able to participate knowingly and participate with full information. And so today, we recognize some entities who are a key part of making sure that the citizens and constituents of Los Angeles and of cities throughout the Western region and across the country can participate knowingly and well-informed in the civic process. By watching local city council meetings, we afford our constituents an opportunity to get to know what the issues are, what the discussion is and the debate is, and what the arguments are that we deliberate here in each and every council meeting, and in turn give them an opportunity, after they become informed, to form an opinion and to state their views. And so we recognize the organization known as the States of California and Nevada chapter of the Telecommunications Officers and Advisors, also known as SCANATOA, for what is known the week of April 2nd through the 6th as the Great City Hall Tune-In, here to receive a recognition and a resolution on behalf of the City of Los Angeles, the President of SCANATOA, Mr. Michael Friedman.
Thank you very much.
Can you say a few words again?
Thank you very much, Councilman Padilla. Just a few brief comments. Both the local chapter and the National Association are professional organizations serving local governments and regional authorities in dealing with cable television and telecommunications issues. The purpose of the tune-in is to encourage the public to become better educated, involved in the issues of local concern by watching city council meetings such as this here on Channel 35 and under local government access channels. I thank the city for their recognition of our efforts in this regard, and I thank you for your participation. If I may add just a brief personal note, I'm actually perhaps a rarity in this community in that I was born and raised in the city of Los Angeles, went to college in the city of Los Angeles, have worked for the past 20 years in the city of Los Angeles. So I personally appreciate the efforts that are provided by this city council and by the city on Channel 35, which I watch regularly. Thank you very much.
All that in the City of Los Angeles, I'm sure that's led to a lot of tax dollars coming into our general fund. But let me tell you what we're doing with some of that general fund dollars. We're dedicating it to our own LA City channel, Channel 35, and here to accept the recognition on behalf of the Los Angeles City Government Channel is the General Manager of our Information Technology Agency, Mr. Jesse Juarez.
Thank you, Councilman Padilla. Madam President, members of the council. On behalf of the Information Technology Agency's Channel 35 LA City View, I'm proud
to be part of the Great City Hall Tune-In. The Great City Hall Tune-In encourages our citizens in our community to participate in local government by watching the council meetings on TV, and allows them to see their government at work. It also allows them to participate in the basic concepts of democracy and choice. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Jesse, for all the good work you do in this city. But the city of Los Angeles is not alone in this effort. We're joined by our partner cities throughout Nevada and California. But here locally, one of our partners, especially in the San Fernando Valley, is the city of Calabasas. Representing that city is the Honorable Mayor Janice Lee.
Thank you, Councilmember Padilla. It's an honor to be here this morning to participate in the Great City Hall Tune-In. As you know, we in elected office often have constituents that would like to know what we do and often suggest that we are doing it without their awareness. This is one of the reasons why it is so important for us to get the word out to them that we do have local access through our government channels. People can watch us in action, live, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the good news is that when the gavel falls, people know that their government is taking up the business of the people. As the youngest city in Los Angeles County, my city, Calabasas, is celebrating its 10th year of cityhood on April 21st, and I'd like to invite all of you to come to our beautiful city to watch what we have done through our community's efforts, and also to encourage the viewers at home to come out to see how this participatory arrangement, when people can watch their government at work and participate, produces wonderful consequences that we can all share. I'd just like to thank once again Alex Padilla for being here this morning with us, and it's my pleasure, and I thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. One of two beachfront cities that's represented this morning, our neighbor to the west, from the city of Santa Monica, Mayor Michael Feinstein.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome from Santa Monica. I just want to extend our thanks. Both your city channel and ours cooperate on sharing resources. We were just there at UCLA for the mayor's debate last week, working with your people as well, and that's really a good synergy. And since today's topic, at least that we're addressing here, has to do with participation, even though I know that you really don't need to hear somebody from another city giving you suggestions on what to do, since I'm here, I thought I would just briefly participate and say that I hope that, one, you follow Councilmember Padilla's lead on the ATM fee ban, and after we win in court, that you go ahead and pass an ordinance. Two, I hope you join Santa Monica in ultimately building a coalition to overthrow the Costa-Hawkins legislation on the state level so that we can restore strong rent control and protect tenants and affordable housing. Third, I hope that you will look at improving democracy in your city by looking at proportional representation and innocent runoff voting. And finally, with all due respect to those of you who I know share a different opinion, I hope ultimately you vote to turn Playa Vista into a regional park. So thank you for your time.
using our Pioneer Women Day
Thank you.
for a political speech. Mr. Padilla, are you almost done?
Almost, Madam President. If you will, our last guest from the city of Torrance, the mayor, the Honorable Paul Nwatka.
Thank you. I believe I got instructions to keep it short, so I will. My name is Paul Nwatka, councilman from the city of Torrance, and I bring greetings from Mayor Dee Hardison and all the members of the council. Thank you very much for allowing us to be here. I'm here with the staff of City Cable 3 to celebrate the great City Hall call-in, and it's an honor to have been here, and I will keep it short. Bye.
Madam President, I just wish to end by saying this. We ask people to engage in the council process and the governance process year in, year out. One of the highlights every 2 years in the city of Los Angeles is our elections. This Tuesday is Election Day. A reminder to those watching at home to please go out and vote and utilize Channel 35 as a way to be informed on the candidates and the issues. Thank you.
All right, in an example of remarkable and much to be appreciated cooperation, we have a deal among our council members here. Ms. Miskowski is going to go next to recognize her pioneer woman. And when Santa Monica builds enough housing to match its job sites, then we'll have a discussion about Playa Vista.
Thank you, Madam President. My pioneer woman, in the spirit of cooperation, did carpool down here with members of her family, and she has an appointment to get back to. To get back to the pioneer women, I think we, all the members of the council, enjoy hearing the stories, as well as the members of the public, of these women and how remarkable they are and how much alike they are, even though they have distinct backgrounds. I'd like to introduce the council to my nominee, Jean Shigematsu, in the 11th District. Jean has had a commitment, a long lifetime commitment, to paving new roads of awareness in an array of issues, from those affecting the Japanese American community, neighborhood public safety, education, as well as business interests. She is a standout in any field. She's been deeply involved in the West Los Angeles community for over 33 years. She is a business owner, an entrepreneur, a founding member of the West LA Chamber of Commerce, and its executive director at one time, and has been tireless in her service to the West LA Community Police Advisory Board. In fact, so tireless that during the DNC, Jean was out with vest and whistle and information and walkie-talkie, helping provide to the police department as its eyes and ears at some of the venues, which were the hotels where the delegates from across the country were staying, to participate and extend the police department's capability of providing safety, information, and part of the marvelous reaction and protection that we provided in this city for a very, very successful convention. Jean has also dedicated a large part of her life to the issues faced by the Japanese American community. This came to her in her formative years when she actually spent time in the internment camp, and I thought how interesting it was to hear Joel's nominee, Lori Dinkin, came here in fleeing from German persecution in 1939. Jean, too, comes from that era, from another level of persecution in this country. This experience, while tragic, undeniably formed in her the need to be part of a spirit of showing everyone what is involved, what freedom means in this country, and not letting us forget. She has served in the Japanese American community as the Board of Trustees on the Japanese American Community Center of West LA, the Japanese Institute of Sawtelle, and president of the West Los Angeles chapter of the Japanese American Citizen League. In all of those capacities, she has lobbied, gone to Sacramento, gone to Washington, and in particular is in raising awareness to know about these issues of our past, to encourage the federal government to declare the internment camps national historic monuments so that we will have them in perpetuity as places of knowledge, of places of learning, and of places of knowing that even in our own country, while we have looked at others to say that they have not set an example that is democratic in its principle, we too failed. So the other thing about Jean that's unbelievable is I really don't believe the word no is in her vocabulary. She just introduced me today to Mike Watanabe, who's here along with her other friends and neighbors, and he's the executive director of the Asian American Drug Abuse Program, and she has just gone on their board. She is also instrumental in forming the West LA Neighborhood Council, Community Council, and as I say, I just don't think she says no. So I shouldn't announce that too loudly because too many people will line up and ask her to join them. But Jean, on behalf of the 11th Council District, thank you for all your great work for our district, for our city, for our families.
Want to say something? And Jean, before you speak, I also want to thank you on behalf of the part of the 6th District that you spend so much time in. We're neighbors, as Cindy's district and mine are neighbors, as you obviously know, because you work very hard in a lot of organizations that overlap, and we too appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I accept this wonderful, wonderful award with great humility because if it wasn't for almost 45 years ago, my husband and I came down in a little Ford with just our suitcase. And from there, I have been able to establish a career, and it is now time for me to give back. And I have my supporters and my friends here, my son, who is here, and my supporters from the Chamber of Commerce, from the Asian American Drug Abuse Program, from Brentwood, from West LA, and from the West Side. And I just want to thank all of them. They're all back here to support me. I want to thank you, and I accept this with great humility. Thank you very much.
All right, just so everybody's keeping track, I don't know if you could, oh, there is a clock on that side. We're at 11:25. The chair now recognizes Ms. Walters for 2 presentations. Then we're going to have, then I think we're into the Pioneer Women. Well, Walters, go ahead. No, actually you could. No, because Mr. Fewer's got somebody who has to leave also, if you wouldn't mind. Do your 2 that aren't, and then we'll start. Mr. Fewer will be up first.
Thank you, Madam President. The first award that I have to present is on behalf of Councilman Ferraro, who, as we all know, is unable to be with us today, but we wish him well. This award is going to the International Committee of the Los Angeles Philharmonic Association, who is celebrating its 50th anniversary. And I'm going to ask the women who are receiving this award if they would come forward. The award is given to this small but unique group of civic-minded, internationally oriented, music-appreciative women, including Beryl Danielson, Eleanor Wilson, and Violet Reitman. They had a dream for increasing the cultural life in the city of Los Angeles by supporting the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra. And in 1951, in an effort to reach out to the international community, represented by the presence of the Counselor Corps station in Los Angeles, the first international night was created. The wives of members of the Counselor Corps were invited to become special members of the International Committee, thus fostering international goodwill and understanding through the universal voice of music. International Night evolved into a yearly event formally honoring our Counselor Corps members and celebrating a special country, which became an important date on the calendar of the Los Angeles cultural activities. And this goes on to talk about their fundraising capacity and what they have done. They have, through various projects, raised $2 million to date. And their fundraising projects have outgrown the International Committee. The administration of the benefit has now been transferred to the board of the Music Center. So Mr. Ferraro wants all of you to know that by the adoption of this resolution, the mayor and the council and the city commend each and every one of you for your outstanding work on behalf of the Music Center and its programs. Okay.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and on behalf of the International Committee for the Los Angeles Philharmonic, I'd like to express our gratitude for this commendation and for this proclamation. We are very strong in our belief that music is an international language and speaks to all hearts and to all nationalities. And it's wonderful that it doesn't even require an interpreter. It speaks to your heart and my heart and everyone's heart. And we feel it is necessary for the communication in the world today. It's become smaller and smaller. We need something to bring us closer together. And we feel that is music. That is our love. That is our commitment. And we are so grateful that we have our Los Angeles Philharmonic that we represent, who's making Los Angeles very, very proud of their existence. And when our new concert hall, Walt Disney Hall, is going to be erected, I'm sure that each and every one of you have probably seen it. It's coming up. It's going to be up very shortly, and we are so proud that will be the new home of our Philharmonic. And I'm also very happy that we have with us today our founding member. And I'd like for you to meet Mrs. Beryl Danielson, Mrs. Walter Danielson, perhaps you know her as that. She's one of our founding members. And on behalf of the International Committee, the Los Angeles Wives of the Consular Corps, Chef de Post, may I thank you, and especially I'm part of the Los Angeles Philharmonic. Thank you so very much for the support that you also give him. Thank you.
Well, I'm amazed today to learn so much of all the wonderful things that all you wonderful people are doing for Los Angeles. I'm proud to be here with you today, and I wish you great success in all of your efforts.
Thank you so very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
The next award is a very special award indeed. It goes to Trooper Curtis L. James, who is a former member of the Buffalo Soldiers. And that's a unique group and a very special group and an historic group. So I am pleased to introduce you to Trooper Curtis L. James, a Buffalo soldier who served in the 9th Cavalry Regiment from 1940 to 1945. After 60 years, he finally received his military medals for his tour of duty and service to his country. It took 60 years. Curtis James, who at 18 years old joined the Army in Texarkana, Texas. He was assigned to the F Troop, 9th Horse Cavalry Regiment, Fort Riley, Kansas, for 6 weeks of basic training, followed by study in several areas, including cooking and baking and clerical school. That's where African American soldiers were assigned. After completion of his training, he was assigned as an orderly to then General B.O. Davis Sr., the very first African American general in the U.S. Army. Later, he served as the personal orderly to General Davis' son, Captain B.O. Davis Jr., who took command of the 99th Pursuit Squadron in Tuskegee, Alabama. This unit is better known as the Tuskegee Airmen. Trooper Curtis James then transferred to the 3183 Quartermaster Service Company. After training maneuvers, he was sent overseas, landing on D-Day in North Africa, then was part of the invasion of Italy at Anzio Beach, Palermo Beach, and Salerno Beach. And most of you here today are probably too young for those names to mean anything to you. But they were quite historic, and the struggles of the U.S. to defeat fascism in Europe was played out along those beaches. Trooper Curtis James earned 4 Bronze Battle Stars, a Good Conduct Award, and 5 other medals and ribbons. He was honorably discharged in 1945. Today, he lives in Los Angeles with his family. He is a very active member of the Los Angeles chapter of the 9th and 10th Horse Cavalry Association. He gives lectures to school children on his experience as a Buffalo soldier. And some of you may wonder why they were called Buffalo Soldiers. It's my understanding, and Trooper James, correct me if I'm wrong, that Buffalo Soldiers was a name given to these cavalrymen by American Indians because buffaloes were considered to be courageous, honored animals, and they felt the Buffalo Soldiers demonstrated that same kind of courage in battle. I don't know how many of you will ever have an opportunity to visit Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, but there's a magnificent bronze sculpture, life-size sculpture there denoting and recognizing the history of the Buffalo Soldiers prior to and including World War II. And it's just a real pleasure, Trooper James, to present this to you. You are an historic figure. The history of the Buffalo Soldiers is one that is now being told increasingly, and it's a history that will endure for young people through the ages. It's indeed my pleasure.
I just want to say that I thank all of the people that was involved in bringing this for me to be honored here today. I can't call all of the people by name, but all I want to say, I thank you, and I would say I thank all of you, and the word all will cover everyone that was involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trooper James. And I'll ask the gentlemen who are accompanying him if they will just tell us what their names are.
Well, thank you, Mr. Walters. I'm Fred Jones, the president of the 9th and 10th Horse Cavalry in Los Angeles. And some of you know about the Buffalo Soldiers. You all know about it now from Mrs. Walters' explanation of who we are. These gentlemen here with me served in the Horse Cavalry in World War II on horseback, patrolling the Mexican border, making it safe for you to sleep at night from 1942 until 1944. We went overseas to North Africa where we were dismounted. But in going overseas, we were still designated as Horse Cavalry Combat. And in those days, it was almost against the law to allow blacks to commingle with white soldiers, especially in combat. So therefore, they broke up the whole 2nd Cavalry Division, 4 regiments, all black, with a proud history. And we're still proud of that history. And we're now becoming recognized, and we're happy to see Trooper James, who is one of many, receiving his medals. They're long overdue. I never received mine. I earned 7. I fought with the 92nd Infantry in Italy, and also went to the Pacific after the war in Italy. But I never received any medals. I never got a furlough. And I think that was the norm for those days. And I'm certainly happy to see Trooper James getting his medals. And they're long overdue and well deserved. And thank you very much.
I'm Bruce Dennis. I'm also original Buffalo Soldier. I was in the 10th Cavalry, and I was proud of it. I served with James and Fred Jones also. And just to say that I am also a retiree of the city, Water and Power, after 42 years.
My name is Robert Perry. I'm one of the Jefferson High School and Carver Junior High School and City Carter. And also, I'm a retired city employee, 32 years in this, the wastewater collection system. And I'm the bugler for the Buffalo Soldiers. I was Air Force airman, so I'm just happy to be involved. So I play the national anthem and taps for every meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, council members, very much. We'll go on.
Chair recognizes Mr. Fewer. We're having another example of councilmanic cooperation here. And after Mr. Fewer, who's going to do his Pioneer Woman, we have Mr. Burnson, who has a couple of non-Pioneer Women presentations, and then we start to do things in the order we thought we were going to do them in the first place.
Madam
Go
President,
ahead.
thank you. Mr. Burnson, thank you for your courtesy as well, and all colleagues. This is a special presentation indeed, but I want to begin in an unorthodox way. You know, last night, our 7-year-old daughter lost another tooth. And so today, this morning, became an unusual morning in our house because for the first time, our daughter insisted on knowing the answer, is there a tooth fairy or not? And my kids both have evidence that if there is one, he or she is rather clumsy because there was a time in our son's growing up years that the tooth fairy tripped and fell on one of his creations in his room, creating evidence that he's either a big lumbering person or not at all. Anyway, with Danielle, we had this discussion, and I began by trying to say to her, you know, there are lots of mysteries in life. And Danielle was not satisfied with that answer alone. I eventually told her that, yes, in fact, today's day you're going to learn that Daddy is the Tooth Fairy, but there's something else that we discussed, and that is, she said, why did you wait so long to tell me that? And I told her, that life is full of mystery, and that miracles happen all the time, and that she should grow up always with a sense of how wonderful things can be, and what wonder there is yet to be discovered in her world and for all of us. I begin with that story because Nancy Daly Reardon has devoted her life to kids who will never, in their early years, hear somebody say that to them, who don't have parents, or if they do, their parents who haven't treated them very well, who don't have any money, who rarely have food to eat. Nancy Daly Reardon didn't have to devote herself to these kids, most of whom she will never personally meet, because she's been able to live an extremely fortunate life. But she's chosen to commit herself to the cause of kids in our society who are in desperate need. That's why she's worthy of being honored this morning as the pioneer woman from the 5th Council District. Nancy Daly Reardon is the founder of the United Friends of the Children in 1980 that supports programs at McLaren Children's Center, educational programs for kids and youth in foster homes. Nancy Daly Reardon lobbied for and was instrumental in creating the Children and Family Services Department and Commission in Los Angeles County. Nancy Daly Reardon was appointed to chair the Mayor's Committee on Children, Youth, and Families, one of the outgrowths of which from the LA for Kids report was the creation of the Commission on Children, Youth, and Families with Mr. Hernandez and others. She's the co-founder of the Children's Action Network, which serves as the entertainment industry's voice for kids. She was appointed to the President's Commission on Children, chaired by Senator Jay Rockefeller, whose report Beyond Rhetoric served as the basis for 14 bills in Congress. She's lobbied leaders successfully for a whole array of important innovations in the lives of kids who most people in our society choose to look away from or discard altogether. And there's a special humanity in that, and a degree of caring in that that's extraordinary and rare. And that's why I wanted to honor her this morning. Time is short, and I'm not going to delineate the huge array of recognitions and acknowledgments and awards that Nancy has received over the course of her life, because it's just too extensive to name right here. But suffice it to say that I'll bet for all these achievements, the achievements that she's probably most proud of are actually, or at least some of them, are here to my right. Nancy is here with her daughter, Linda, and her granddaughter, Juliana, who's taking a sip of water right now. Juliana had been engaging in her first act of civic disobedience earlier today, but things have calmed down now. And I want to turn to Nancy and allow her to say a few words, because you've been really a source of inspiration for so many, not just the kids you've helped, but to serve as an example to others in our city who could give more of themselves if they would only choose to do so. And I also wanted to highlight that facet of your life so that today you could point out that there is so much need in our city and so much that people who have your ability who can bring to change the world for them. Nancy Daly Reardon.
Madam President.
Nancy, before you begin, Mr. Holden wants to say something. Go ahead.
I just want to thank you for what you've done in my district for the Gramercy Group Home. That home now houses a number of unwed mothers and teenagers, women who are at risk, and I'm sure you've turned a lot of their lives around because you got that program off the ground and up and running. You built a fine facility there. City gave some money, but you raised a lot from the public sector, the private sector as well. It showed your commitment to helping people who needed help. And you are appropriately being honored here today as the Pioneer Woman of the Year for your district and also for the entire city. And I want to congratulate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman Holden. Thank you, too, for helping us get that off the ground. And thank you, Councilman Fuhrer, for giving me this great honor. I was very touched when you called and asked me to come. I thought it was a very poignant time for me to come and see all of you here in the City Council, where about 8 years ago we began a relationship when I was working on the committee for children and families, and am so proud of the commission that was formed and the work that they're doing. It's been quite an amazing 8 years for me, and I'm, again, proud today to have, during that period of time, my grandson, first of all, born, and now Juliana. And Juliana, I wanted her very much to be here today to hear about all of these esteemed women behind me who I am very proud to be joining and being recognized today. I have, here's Juliana and Linda, and I'm going to just pose for a second. Well, the moment's good. This wasn't going to last long. At the last I saw Juliana, she was sort of screaming and kicking her feet out on the floor in the hallway. So I just want to say again, I have the greatest respect and regard for elected people who give of themselves and dedicate their lives to improving the world. And to all of you who have worked so hard over these years to help the city of Los Angeles be a better place, I thank you for all of your work and dedication. It's been my pleasure to be part of your world for these last 8 years. I intend to continue to help support the city in ways that I can. I thank you for your work, and I thank you for this honor.
Thank you, Madam President.
Nancy, I think we all thank you for the work that you've done. It's been, you've been very helpful to a lot of children and a lot of families throughout the city. And there are plenty more waiting to ask you for, who still need your help, but you certainly have done a lot for us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, we have one more. Mr. Bernson is next. And then we're going to actually let Paula Petrata from the Commission on the Status of Women introduce the whole Pioneer Women thing that we've already done pieces of. But Mr. Bernson also has to leave for something that can't be modified, so I've asked him to go now.
Could I ask that Dion Nutra and Ted Lusinger please come forward? I'm acting in behalf of Councilman Ferraro on this presentation. He's unable to be here. Come forward, please. The pronunciation is Neutra, I'm sorry, okay. Very good. Whereas April 8th, 2001 marks the 75th anniversary of the founding of the Neutra architectural firm and the 109th birthday of Richard Neutra, and the Institute for Survival Through Design is sponsoring a celebration of these events. Whereas Dion Neutra, son and partner of the late Richard Neutra, continues his father's architectural practice and lends his interest and talents to the Institute for Survival Through Design, a nonprofit California corporation. And whereas from his earliest efforts it was clear that Richard had an innovative side to his nature, whereas Richard Neutra's type of indoor-outdoor design placing people in relationship with nature is credited with influencing several generations of designers the world over. And whereas his practice, which continues today under Dion's leadership, has carried out work in 20 states and in 4 continents, and owners of Neutra structures the world over have been invited to celebrate on April 8th. Now therefore be it resolved that by the adoption of this resolution, the mayor and the Los Angeles City Council designates April 8th, 2001 as Richard and Dion Neutra Day, acknowledges their fine contributions to the architectural world, and wishes continued success in all future endeavors. And so on behalf of Councilman Ferraro, it's my pleasure to present this to you, to this gentleman over here, okay? Take that, I'm sorry. Okay. Would you like to say a word?
Sure. I'm not sure to whom this should go, whether it should be to Ted, who's the president of the Institute, or to myself. But I wanted to show today, my father joins us in the form of a T-shirt that I just got yesterday in the mail. He appeared on Time magazine cover in 1949, and somebody in Kansas made this and sent it to me for this occasion. So we wanted to re-emphasize the fact that we are having an open house on Sunday at the Neutra office building at 2379 Glendale Boulevard. And we are having home tours And we invite the citizens of Los Angeles to join with us in celebrating 75 years in practice.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I want you to know I'm very partial to T-shirts. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks so much for doing
Okay. Can I ask Jane Stanton to come to the podium, please? Jane? It's my distinct pleasure to honor the pioneer woman of the 12th District this year in Jane Stanton. Jane is the type of individual who gets things done. And a good example of that is our beautiful, beautiful YMCA North Valley facility, which is, if you haven't seen it, it is absolutely fantastic. And Jane is responsible for it because she has drafted, I won't even say the word enlisted, Jane has drafted people like myself, Greg Smith, leaders of the community to help raise the money to put this beautiful facility together. She's done a fantastic job. The particular YMCA is state-of-the-art. It has probably one of the most outstanding health programs going anywhere. People are just flocking to it. The membership has reached what now, Jane?
4,300.
4,300 families? 4,300 families in just, what is it, about 3 years now? 2.5 years, 2 years. So I can't, besides this, Jane finds time to be involved with Chamber of Commerce activities and other activities in our district. And I can just tell you that she's terrific, and I'm very happy to be able to honor you today, Jane. First, I'll present you with this resolution. This will be for the picture. And then I've got something else here for you.
Thank you very much.
Let's get one of, you want to take one here? Got it? Okay. Wait a second. Now.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Let's go back and we'll take another picture.
Okay,
back,
I'm going to
okay?
say thank you.
Yeah, you want to say thank you. I'm sorry.
I want to take a moment to say thank you to Councilman Burnson. He's been a friend of our YMCA for many, many years, and in 1988 came up with a special fundraiser program which we call the YMCA Booster Club Dinner that literally saved that Y. The growing of the new YMCA is absolutely phenomenal. We're the second largest Y in Los Angeles and the 12th largest Y in California now, and thank you for your vision. Thank you to the staff that are here and the board members.
Okay, I think we are now finally ready to actually formally open the Pioneer Women Recognition Day program. Paula, are you still here? And let me just remind, before you start, let me just remind everybody, we also have a council agenda, which, oh no, not that indeed. Easy for you to say. All right. The
Thank
chair
you.
recognizes Paula Petrata from the Commission on the Status of Women.
Thank you, Councilmember. We really appreciate joining with the City Council this morning in honoring our 2001 Women Pioneers in honor of Women's History Month and the 153rd anniversary of the Women's Rights Movement. The theme for National Women's History Month is celebrating women of courage and vision. And by honoring women's courage and vision, we set a standard for ourselves and provide a beacon of inspiration for future generations. The women chosen by the City Council this year exemplify both courage and vision. They share the special quality of fearless tenacity that have made them role models for us. And as we highlight their achievements today, we acknowledge and appreciate how they have truly changed the landscape of the city of LA. And as a very famous feminist has said, from kitchen tables to peace tables, women propose to turn the tables on the status quo. And certainly these women today have done that and do that every day in their lives. And I want to just introduce our commission president, Julia Wu.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, the Honorable City Council people or persons. It's really a great pleasure to be here to honor our a group of outstanding pioneer women today. In honor of them, and I'd like to, on behalf of the commission, I'd like to congratulate and appreciate this group of honorees for their contribution to the city of Los Angeles. And meanwhile, I'd like to thank the council for celebrate this great event with us every year. Even this year is slightly delayed, but I appreciate your efforts to extend the celebration of the Women's History Month to one more week. So thank you very much. Without my congratulations again.
Thank you. All right. We will begin with District 1, Councilman Hernandez.
Madam Chair, members of council, first let me hand over the flowers. Members of the council, today it's my honor to recognize Lorraine Estrada as Pioneer Woman of the Year for the 1st Councilmanic District. And I'd like to say that in my office we go through a whole process in this selection, and it includes very much my office staff, community members, and I'm always interested in the proposed list. It's because it comes from the bottom up. And you need to know that the district basically is recognizing someone born in Northeast LA. Basically someone who grew up in a single-family household, one of 7 children. She's a graduate of Abraham Lincoln High School, right in my district. And when Lorraine was growing up, a community health center did not exist. And the primary medical service available to local residents were at the Los Angeles County Hospital, where Lorraine began her health service career as a candy striper, a volunteer. As a native of the community that Arroyo Vista Family Health Center serves, Ms. Estrada is committed to providing access to high-quality health care services to the medically underserved population in Northeast Los Angeles. And that's just not a statement, that's a reality. Survey after survey has told us that this community has been medically underserved. You need to know that Mrs. Estrada joined Arroyo Vista Family Health Care Center as an associate director in 1984, and in 1987 was promoted as its chief executive officer. Under Ms. Estrada's leadership and CEO, Arroyo Vista has grown from a $1 million budget to an $8 million budget with 110 employees and 3 clinics, with a full complement of services. Arroyo Vista began with 5,000 patient visits in 1981, and now they've grown to 88,000. Prior to joining Arroyo Vista, Lorraine was a nurse consultant with the State of California Department of Health. She was also responsible for contract negotiations and contract monitoring for the community rural health centers in Southern California region from Fresno County to the U.S.-Mexican border. Coming from an extended farm worker family, Lorraine continues to be an advocate for farm workers and rural health. Now, that's what my staff wrote. What I need everybody to know is Lorraine Estrada has been an advocate for health care in Northeast Los Angeles. The Arroyo Vista Health Center borders Councilmember Pacheco's district and my district in Highland Park. But it was under Lorraine's leadership that they established another center, a satellite center in Lincoln Heights, the community she grew up with. And every year they have health fairs in both communities. And it's important to the community. Just recently, I had the opportunity to talk to a doctor who was coming from Loretto Elementary School, and he had parked in front of my house. And I asked him what he was doing there, and he basically was telling me that what they have found out is that parents who take their kids to school, their reality is the only time they go for health services is when they're going to the emergency at the LA County Hospital. And so by being able to put these clinics at schools, they're making a difference. And a current initiative basically being spearheaded as part of the of the Healthy Start program in my district is to put such a clinic at Lincoln High School and a clinic like that at Nightingale Junior High School. You see, that doctor was part of a program the Royal Vista Health Center is promoting in our community. I wanted to point that out because, Lorraine, you were selected by people in my district and my staff as the person who should be the Pioneer Woman of the Year because of the advocacy you've had for health care in our community and its importance. And as someone who lives there and, again, appreciates my neighbors and the quality of life there, I wanted to recognize you for all that work. And thank you very much on behalf of the people of the 1st Councilmanic District. And so I'll just read, because I'm making this certificate presentation, that for exemplary record of commitment, long-time responsible involvement, and numerous significant contributions to the support, protection, and awareness of the valuable accomplishments of women in our society. And through this personal dedication, you enrich and strengthen our community and make the city of Los Angeles a better place in which to live in. Again, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I want to take this opportunity to thank the Los Angeles City Commission of Women and for giving me this prestigious award. I want to thank you, Councilman Hernandez, for nominating me and for your commitment and dedication to health care and improving health care of the citizens of Northeast Los Angeles and Los Angeles, and to the City Council for your commitment and support that has helped us provide access to health care services. We remain dedicated and will continue to be strong advocates to assure access, 100% access, zero disparities, and assure healthy outcomes for all women and children of our beautiful city. Thank you so much.
Council District 2 has already been heard from. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Chick from Council District 3.
Thank you, colleagues. I think with the few presentations that have been made already, we can see what a better place our city is, thanks to all of the talents of these wonderful women. We've heard about health care, about contributions to the community through community activism and children, and I have next to me today, along with some of her family, one of our outstanding women educators in the city of Los Angeles. Susan Cohen Grossman is the person, the very special woman that the 3rd Council District chose to be their honoree. She currently is the principal at Melvin Avenue School in Reseda. She's been a teacher here in Los Angeles for 34 years of affecting and influencing in positive ways the lives of untold young boys and girls. In January of this year, some of you might remember that Melvin Avenue School was recognized by Governor Gray Davis in his annual State of the State address for their outstanding academic achievements. Under Principal Grossman's leadership, Melvin Avenue School achieved a 79-point gain on the Academic Performance Index with an increase of 103 points in API scores for Latino students who account for more than 60% of its student body. Through Susan's policy of actively pursuing available state funding, she has also secured over $163,000 for Melvin Avenue School. This is the kind of dedicated and creative principal work that we need at all of our schools. Her past achievements, besides the one today that we are giving her, include being honored for service to students with exceptional needs by LAUSD in 1989. Between 1987 and 1989, Susan, you were honored 3 to 4 times for a variety of outstanding service accomplishments by LAUSD. She served for 8 years as the parent representative for the Special Education Commission, 3 years as the chairperson. And she was also recognized by Hughes Aircraft for doing something else creative, and that was a partnership with the private sector to create a K through 12 education partnership. And so with the same very special words and tribute to you for being one of our outstanding pioneer women, Susan Cohen Grossman, I hereby congratulate you and present you with this certificate with flowers that I'm told are dripping because we're trying to keep them fresh. And I want to turn the microphone over to you and let you introduce your family and say something to us. Congratulations. There you go.
Councilwoman Chick, City Council people, I'd like to extend my deep appreciation for this honor. I can't tell you how humbled I am to be in the company of these beautiful, talented, and noteworthy women. I did not pick Los Angeles to be born in, I'm sorry. In 1967, however, I did pick it to live in, and that was one of my very best decisions I've ever made. I'm deeply grateful to Councilwoman Chick. I have to tell you that she has been a firm supporter of all of our schools. Our beautiful mural, California History, is a product of Ms. Chick. She has brought the arts back to the Canoga Park area, where we have had the wonderful Madrid Theater and all of the community interaction there, and we deeply thank you for that. And I will conclude with just one comment, and everyone needs to remember this. 30% of our population is 100% of our future. So take care of our children. Thank you. May I just really quickly introduce my family? David Edward Grossman, and this is Laura De La Rosa Rivas Grossman, and a gentleman who asked me to marry him in 7th grade. He didn't know what he was getting into. My husband, Chuck, behind the camera over there. Hi, Chuck. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. The chair recognizes President Pro Tem Galanter.
I have to say, our flowers aren't so fresh anymore, but they smell nice. Members of the council, it is my very great honor and pleasure to introduce Sister Ada Garrity as our 6th District Pioneer Woman of the Year. Sister Ada does, come up here, don't be shy. I've never known you to be shy. Shy is not quite in her vocabulary. Sister Ada, as you will discover shortly, was born in Dublin and came to Los Angeles as a member of her religious congregation, the Sisters of the Holy Faith, in 1965. She did all kinds of respectable things like attend Immaculate Heart College, where she received a BA degree in music and psychology, and Loyola University, where she got a master's degree in counseling psychology. She later attended UCLA and became certified in drug and alcohol studies. And as we all know, unfortunately, these are problems that are very, very real in the city of Los Angeles and throughout our country. After 25 years in the Catholic school system as a school administrator, Sister Ada founded Women in Recovery, which is a really wonderful residential recovery home for women who are dealing with drug and alcohol abuse. The home is located in Venice. It's been there for 10 years. It is an absolutely wonderful program and has served innumerable women who've gone through detox. They've been through the worst of it. But then, of course, as anybody who's dealt with people in recovery knows, the really tough stuff is after you get yourself detoxed, what do you do next? And Sister Ada's facility and her personal counsel and stewardship has been enormously helpful to many, many women as they struggle, they and their families struggle with the whole concept of the disease of alcoholism, the fact that there are family interventions that are necessary and family interventions you want to prevent. So she not only works with the women who are living in the facility, but she also works with their families, and she conducts workshops and seminars for people not involved in the facility, but who are also interested in those issues. And I believe that this is an enormous contribution to our collective public health, as well as to the lives of the individual women who are being helped. She's been recognized many times, but not enough, and not by us. And so it is my honor today Sister Ada, to do this for you in public, to recognize you with our certificate of commendation, our flowers, which do smell nice, our very best wishes, and our thanks for all that you do. Thank you very much. Now you can talk.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Councilwoman Galanter. When I got the phone call that I had been chosen for this very nice honor, and I returned the call to Ruth's office, my response was, Ruth Galanter is the lady who should be receiving this honor, not me. I want to pay tribute in acknowledging the award and in thanking the Council in general and Ruth in particular for this honor. I want to pay tribute to the work that Ruth Galanter does in the 6th District. I don't think she gets nearly enough recognition for the work that she does there, especially in the Venice area. We're a tough group in Venice. And I just want to recognize the integrity and the tenacity and the dedication and the ability to ask the hard questions that Ruth does in our district. Ruth is a great role model for me and for us, for the women that live in our home. And I'm very grateful to you, Ruth, and to the council members. I also want to pay tribute to Ruth's deputy council, Mike Bonin over there, my very dear friend Mike. Mike is also very supportive and has brought his volunteer guy friends over to the home where they do minor repairs and do painting for us. So behind every good councilwoman is a good council deputy. So I am so grateful. Oh, I'd love to get my picture taken with them. Thank you. So thank you to Mike. Mike is also a powerful force in our district. So I feel very privileged to be involved at the deep level that I get to be involved with women's lives. And I am ever so grateful to Mike and Ruth for their support of me, the women's home, and their district in general. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love you.
Thank you, Madam President. The chair recognizes Councilman Padilla.
That was just a warm-up hug. We have one more coming after. Madam President, colleagues, it's my pleasure and honor to present as the Pioneer Woman of Council District 7 for this year, not only our community leader, but my personal friend, Irene Tovar. I first met Irene about 20 years ago. And I sometimes tell the story when I'm speaking, especially to young people, about what it was like growing up for me. And how Saturday mornings, when most kids want to sleep in or stay home watching cartoons, there would be a mysterious phone call. And I would hear my mother hang up saying, "Sure, come pick them up." And that "sure, come pick them up" often meant the answer to a request for volunteers to go paint over graffiti, to go plant trees, to go clean up the parks, or volunteer at the church, or do whatever it took to help maintain our community, but at the same time keep kids like me out of trouble. Well, what I learned years later is that that person on the other end of the phone was Irene Tovar. And she was helpful not only to me in my initial and early civic involvement, but very helpful to my parents, to my family, and to my neighborhood when we were organizing to combat crime in the area. We didn't know what the term neighborhood watch was, but we knew we were organizing the neighbors together to work with the police department. And that is how I got to know Irene. But I think her resume and her accomplishments speak for themselves, both in the San Fernando Valley and statewide. We're proud to know that she was at one point a special assistant to the governor, Governor Jerry Brown. She was not only a founder of many community-based organizations, including the San Fernando Valley Neighborhood Legal Services, the Latin American Civic Association. She's now the president and the head of LACA, who represents the largest Head Start in the county and the fourth largest in the country, serving the children and families throughout the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond. She's serves her community in many ways, from serving on the advisory board at Los Angeles Mission College. She's served the city on several advisory panels in the Los Angeles Police Department, speaking directly to chiefs of police, plural, as well as the local booster associations and CPABs at Foothill Division, and many, many more. From the Cal State Northridge Alumni Association, and on and on. She's got a tremendous track record, tremendous experience and history in serving the San Fernando Valley and the entire state of California, but as a personal friend and an inspiration for the young man growing up in Pacoima who now humbly serves as a city council member. I wanted to thank and recognize Irene Tovar. And Eric Carroll's left, but she's wearing Dodger blue.
That's right. Thank you. Excuse me, I'm a little bit hoarse today, so if you will please excuse me. Buenas tardes, I think ya es las 12, ¿verdad? Buenas tardes, I was going to say buenos días. Buenas tardes, para mí es un gran orgullo de estar aquí con ustedes. I'm so proud, I'm a native Los Angelinian. I was born here, I love my city. And I want to thank at this moment not only the City Council and really an outstanding role model in our community that we're so proud of. But I also want to thank the Commission on the Status of Women. At this moment, as I sat here with all of these outstanding women, I thought of my parents, my father and my mother, who without me knowing gave me a great sense of pride in being a woman, of being a Latina, and of my commitment, the value they taught me, of my commitment to serve. And I've been enriched. I never knew what a wonderful gift they gave me because I have such wonderful experience, and the experience I had to meet wonderful people like yourself, the people that came here today, not only my family, my sister, my niece, my nephews, but my staff, my board, and all my wonderful friends. I am not anything unless I have wonderful people like that that give me the nourishment for me to do the things I've done. So without them, I couldn't do it. And thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. As we say, muchas gracias y muchas gracias. Gracias, mijo. Thank you. Okay. Yeah.
Chair recognizes Councilman Ridley Thomas, Council District 8. I'm sorry? You don't want to do it now? Okay. Council District 9, Ms. Walters.
Thank you, Madam President. And now, one of my staff people who works very closely with this lady is going to present the flowers that we have for her. Representing to you today is the CD9 Pioneer Woman for 2000, Ms. Margarita Jackson. Let me share with you a few of the things in which she is involved. She's the Trinity Street Block Club Captain. She's a 20th Street Block Club captain with over 60 members. She's a Newton Division CPAB member. She's a leader in the community since 1988. She's organized community cleanups and health fairs, works with city departments to rid the community of graffiti, drugs, and gang activity. Ms. Jackson is successful in getting businesses as well as community members involved in block club meetings. Her goal is to educate and empower residents so that one day they will have all the resources available to improve the quality of life in CD9. Every year at Christmas, Ms. Jackson organizes the Posadas celebration, where gifts are given to children in the community. Ms. Jackson has organized residents to circulate a petition to find a donor for a liver transplant patient. She participated in a press conference for possible donors and was on hand when Don Juan Diaz received his liver. Ms. Jackson has 3 biological children. She didn't stop there. She adopted 2 more, and she's now in the process of adopting 3 more children. I think that's wonderful. That is terrific. Yes. Thank you for being a wonderful spirit and a wonderful pioneer woman in CD9. Terrific. Okay. Very good. You want to say something?
Thank you very much. Today is a special day for me. This is something that I really appreciate from all these years that I've been working with my community. And with all your support, we can do much. But I'm hoping that you'll be there for us and for all this time. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Mr. Holden of Council District 10.
Thank you very much, Madam President. We have a very special person that we're being honored today, as all the Pioneer Women of the Year are special. And we should always thank them all and give them a nice rounding of applause for all the women who are being honored today. But then in my district, we have a very, very special one. Her name is Miss Marie Gaines. She's a community activist for more than 20 years. She lived in the 10th district for 30 years. She's the first person in California, male or female, to take a Club Scout troop by plane to Sacramento to see the historical trails. So she's been out there working with young people for most of the time that she's been volunteering. She hosted many affairs for city officials, including Mayor Tom Bradley, Chief Willie Williams at her home. She organized and it's called Homes on Wheels for homeless women, men who live in the street, and she also got clothes and food for them. She's active in CPAC. She's a founding member and helped write the bylaws. She opened her home for 5 abused young people from different family backgrounds. They lived with Mrs. Gaines for a year to get back on their feet and to get started and have a good life for themselves. She's the founder and organizer of the Longwood Neighborhood Association. It's a block club as well. And I know how active she was in that association. In fact, when Mrs. Gaines sold her home, she decided that she would not leave the neighborhood because she loved it so much. And she cared about improving the quality of life for all of her neighbors and friends. And so she bought another house right nearby, and she's still there. But I will tell you this, that in my 14 years as a member of the City Council, I have not had a person who's been more active and more persuasive and more persistent in getting things done for the community than Ms. Gaines. And her son also, he leans on her and she leans on me, and we get it all done. I remember the Mid-City shopping center area, Midtown, and we had a swap meet there. The swap meet was there before I got elected. But I got to tell you, I had to make haste to get rid of that swap meet or try to work with the developer and the owner of the property so that would happen. So if you go through Mid-City right now, you will take notice of the fact that that swap meet is gone. It's one of the nicest shopping center areas in the city of Los Angeles, one we can all be proud of. All right, we like that. Ms. Gaines just won't let up, give up. She just won't quit when she really takes on a problem. And mentioning other things that she loved, of all the things that she's done, she's a founding member of the Wilshire Area Coalition. This coalition started a few years ago, and they were supporting Proposition B and then also nonviolence in that area, which took in Hancock Park, Longwood Avenue Association, and many other associations in the general area. And she had Edward Olmos come over, and they talk about violence and nonviolence, and had the youngsters try to train them and teach them about nonviolent programs. It was an open forum at the Scottish Rite Temple on Wilshire Boulevard. And I got to tell you that Mrs. Gaines always put her effort and energy where she puts her mouth. I can't think of any other person who today deserves the honor of Pioneer of the Women other than Ms. Marie Gaines, and I'm so proud to represent the 10th District and the city in a way and present this commendation to her. And I want to thank the Pioneer Women Organization for Status of Women for also making notice of it.
Thank you, Councilman Nate Holden. And to the City Council, I really would like to thank you for honoring all of these outstanding women this morning. I think I'm just humbled to be here this morning. I was surprised that I was one of the participants, but there is so much to be done, not only by women, but by men. At this time, I would like to thank Councilman Nate Holden, because without all these accomplishments that he's named, listed that I did accomplish, I could not have done all this alone. I have members and family and friends who are part of the audience this morning, and I'd like to thank them for their participation and the role that they played in making these things possible. At this time, I'd like to introduce my husband, Milton Gaines, who's taking the picture movie camera, and my son, Milton Gaines. I think most of you here know, City Councilman know Milton Gaines. That is my son. And again, I'd like to thank you for acknowledging me this morning. Thank you.
And all those community people who are here to support Mrs. Gaines, will they just stand up so we can see them? Give them a big hand. All right.
All right, who's doing Council District 13? Somebody doing 13? Right, we'll hold 13. Chair recognizes Mr. Pacheco, District 14.
Madam President, colleagues, it's with great pleasure that I present to you one of our most esteemed residents in El Sereno, but let me first present Marina with this nice bouquet of flowers for being our Pioneer Woman of the Year for this year. Marina. Marina has been a part of El Sereno for a while and has worked very hard to really do the most important thing about being active in the community, and that is engaging other people to participate. I say that because one of the places that I have found both a home and a challenging place is a place that she started, which is Mi Casita, which is a parent community center at the El Sereno Middle School. Here she works to educate, train, and assist parents to become involved in the educational process of their children. But also during that process, I am asked to visit them and answer questions as to why certain streets are not paved, certain trees are not trimmed, or certain sidewalks are not repaired. She has been very instrumental in promoting a bilingual, bicultural program at the school, as well as pushing to secure Title VII funding for El Sereno Middle School. She is the chairperson or former chairperson of Voces, Victims of Crime in El Sereno, CAFE, Community Alliance for Education, the El Sereno Youth Development Corporation, which is basically the El Sereno Youth Center, first vice president of the El Sereno Coordinating Council. She's a community representative for the El Sereno Middle School Advisory Council, and she's a treasurer for the El Sereno Middle School PTA and member of the School Improvement Council. Marina has been a friend to not only myself, but to the office. And one of the most important things about having friends in the community is that when you sit down with them, as Marina and I did the other day, we had lunch together at Charlie's Trio. One of the most important things about our friends is that they not only tell us when we're doing things right, but they also tell us when we're doing things wrong. And Marina and I spent lunch going over quite a few items where she had heard that we were not doing well by some of the residents in the community. I emphasize that because I think one of the most important things that Mi Casita provides is a vehicle for people to speak out and share their thoughts as to what's important and what's a priority in the community. Marina has been doing that for quite a while now. She has been a voice for the community, a voice for those who don't stand up necessarily for themselves because either they're doing that second job or raising those children. So I want to commend Marina for doing such a great job in being a voice for the El Sereno community, for being a friend, and for being a true friend and telling me when things are not going exactly the way they should, and we will work to fix those things one at a time. So Marina Martinez, our 2001 Pioneer Woman.
If I can. Thank you, Councilman Nick Pacheco, one of the youngest, I think, and handsome new councilman. But before I go on, I want to thank my son, Fireman Steve Martinez, which is taking a picture. 40 years ago, I used to volunteer at El Sereno Elementary. 40 years ago, he came to my house. He came home from school, and he says, "Mom, why don't you join the PTA?" So I looked at him, and I went and joined the PTA. And after that, I joined every organization possible. Then he tells me, "Mom, I didn't tell you to join everything. I just told you to join the PTA." And I'm still here. I'm 80 years old, and I'll continue. I guess I'll be at El Sereno School. I've been working for the LA Unified for 37 years. And I want to thank you for this honor. And I think you're learning very fast. And thanks a lot. And thank all the councilmen here. I know some of them. Mr. Hernandez, too. So thanks a lot. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Mr. Savornich, Council District 15.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the council. There are not many opportunities in life when you get to honor one of your heroes. But today is one of those days, and I'm very, very honored to have standing next to me the 15th Council District's Pioneer Woman of the Year, Commissioner Ozzie Gonzak, President of the Board of Commissioners of the Los Angeles Housing Authority. Commissioner Gonzak has been active in civic affairs in the city of Los Angeles for many, many years now, dating prior to 1965 when we saw our Watts community engulf in a summer of frustration which led to some of the greatest civil disturbance that the city had seen. And at that time, the commissioner pledged herself to improve, not move, the community of Watts, and in doing so, added valued service to the entire city of Los Angeles for her role with the Los Angeles Police Department, for many, many years as a community leader, and for many, many more years than that as a member of the Board of Housing Authority Commissioners, and she has served numerous terms as president. Prior to presenting this to her, I would like to ask the Housing Authority family to please join me in making this presentation. Come on up, folks. Also, I wanted to mention the commissioner's involvement and her family's involvement with the Watts Cinema and Entertainment Project, which is being developed on the site of the Watts Cultural Crescent in proximity to the Watts Towers. It is under the commissioner's leadership that we are going to have a premier cultural and entertainment center in the community of Watts. She serves as the co-chair of the advisory board to that project. And personally, for the last 8 years, it has indeed been an honor working with a woman who has put love of community and love of this city above self, who has done a terrific job bringing people and projects together, and for advocating for those less fortunate than many of us in regards that they have quality, safe, decent housing as they transition through various phases of their life. Madam President, members of the council, would you please join in honoring one of my personal heroes and the pioneer woman for the 15th Council District, and I believe one of the women in the history of Los Angeles who will go down in the history of Los Angeles as one of our great all-time leaders, either male or female, Commissioner Gonzak. Congratulations, my friend. Please.
Thank you so much, Councilman Savornich. It's been a pleasure working with you the past 8 years, and I would like to personally thank you for your support, and you've supported every effort that I've tried to do with the Housing Authority, with the City of Los Angeles. I've never called on you that you weren't there to give support and do what you could do, and I thank you so much for that. And I would also like to personally thank each city council member for the continued support you've given me over the years with the Housing Authority. It would not have been possible to do a lot of the things that we've done at the Housing Authority had it not been for the council member support. And I thank you very much for that. And I would also like to thank and acknowledge my number one, my daughter, Barbara Stanton. And I would also like to acknowledge my Hackler family, my Housing Authority family that's here, and they are the reason that the Housing Authority has progressed to the point that we can be proud of it. They are determined to make the Housing Authority the best, and we have been given the rating of high performer for the past 6 years. That's because of the work of this staff. So I want to thank them, because anything that I have achieved, it has been with their help and their support and your support. I thank you very much. I'm humbled by this wonderful award. I thank you very much, and I will continue to do my best for this city.
Congratulations. Same here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And Madam President, I will have one more presentation. Let's do it right here.
Well, let me make
Counsel.
sure we've got a microphone for you. You have Mr. Savornich? Okay.
There we go.
Go ahead.
Thank you again, Madam President, members of the council. May I ask Lillian Sherman and her family, please, to join me at the podium. On this day where we honor women in the city of Los Angeles, I did not want the day to go by without presenting a special certificate of tribute to another woman who was a first in her profession. During the Second World War, Lillian was the embodiment of Rosie the Riveter, was the first woman to achieve the position of Final A Inspector for the Douglas Aircraft Company. She has been a pioneer in her field, and of most recent, I thought it would be interesting to note that just last September, she was able at 86 years young to pilot the Goodyear blimp on a tour of Southern California at the invitation of the pilot. Also, I wanted to bring to your attention that just recently also, she was asked to be the honorary Final A inspector for Boeing Aircraft Company's new 717 jet, repeating her role to make sure that quality aircraft were flying in our skies. Dating back to the Second World War, as you know, back in those days, it was quite an accomplishment to have a woman rise herself up through the ranks and achieve the position that she did in order that service people flying in defense of our country knew that the aircraft to which they were going to enter and embark on very dangerous missions were the best aircraft that they could be. So this morning, I would like to present the certificate of tribute to Lillian Sherman, to thank her family for bringing her accomplishments to our attention, and to present her with flowers also, because indeed standing next to me is a woman who has trailblazed in the aircraft industry, and we are so very happy to have her with us here today. Please go right ahead.
Thank you, everybody, so much. Words cannot express how I feel today. And thank you. May I present my grandson? I'd love to have him talk for me. Thank you. And thank you, Rudy. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Come on over here.
All right.
Thank you so much, LA City Council members, and of course, a very good citizen of the great city of San Pedro, Mr. Savornich. This is indeed an honor, and on behalf of my grandmother, I don't know who's having a greater time, her or myself. We're both very glad to be here, and this is indeed nothing less than an honor.
Well,
and she has deserved everything that she's gotten. She's went through, achieved the ranks going up from, as Mr. Savornich said, Rosie the Riveter, and she opened up the doors for many women to achieve the same positions and indeed the same pay rates as the men achieved. And she really did a lot for the women back in that time. And it's, once again, thank you so much.
To say nothing of what she did for the people flying and riding in the airplanes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, members of the council, we're actually just about to begin the agenda, but in between, where is he? I want to introduce you to the new council member from the 13th Council District, sitting in Mr. Padilla's lap here, Little Joe Kagan. Come on, Little Joe, there you go. Okay, he's not sitting anymore. Well, and your first act as a new council member will be to get up and do a presentation. All right, we are now ready to begin the agenda, and let me warn you that we are also down to a bare quorum. So with any luck, we will be able to do this before anybody faints from hunger. I also want to alert you that several of the items, most of the items on the agenda have not yet had a public hearing, and we do have several people who've asked to be heard on several of those items. We do have special one, which I believe we need to take first. Is everybody?
First is approval of the minutes.
Oh, yeah, that. I forgot about that. We never did that, did we? All right. Without objection, the minutes are approved.
Commendatory resolutions for
And
approval.
those two.
Special number 1 is a Rule 23 motion brought in today by Ms. Rita Walters.
Madam City Attorney, for the findings.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. On
March 7th of this year, pursuant to a council action, the Commission for Children, Youth, and Their Families issued a Phase 1 of a competitive grant process for Prop K and Prop 12 call-for projects. It's since come to the attention of the city staff that the April 4th, 2001 submission deadline was insufficient for the agencies to be able to submit and prepare their proposals. So this is a motion to extend it to April 20th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The council need to make the findings that the need to act arose after the posting of the agenda and that there's an immediate need to act, and then you would take a vote on the motion itself.
All right, open the roll on the findings, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
All right, the matter, that's approved, so the matter is now before us. Mr. Hernandez.
If Mr. Deaton could come to the table, and I seconded the motion, so I just, we're extending the deadline for everybody, is that correct?
That's correct.
And we initially provided about 3 weeks for people to apply.
Right.
And that is the primary reason for the extension. My understanding is there was several proposals who came in the same day after the deadline.
Right. There's some dispute as to, they think they were there before 5 o'clock, and some people, and then, but the commission's clock indicated it was after 5.
Okay, and is that the primary reason why this motion's before us?
I think that's one of the reasons.
Okay. Now, from the city attorney's perspective, I just want the record to show we're extending it for everybody.
Absolutely.
And everybody has that opportunity to look at their proposals, redo them, bring them back in by the 20th.
Right, and we will notify all proposals that have been submitted and asked if they want to modify, number one, and number two, try to, with this and also other means, to notify that there's been an extension, so it absolutely applies to everybody.
Yeah, and members of council, I just wanted the record to state that because we're trying to maximize our opportunities here, and at the same time, we weren't quite doing that when we provided 3 weeks for preparation. And some people might say, well, 3 weeks is a long time. I still haven't seen the city be able to build a library in less than 4 years. But a lot goes into a process. And I just, again, wanted to stand and say I'm in support of Special 1. I understand some people might not be in support of it, but from the perspective of we're opening it for everybody, and that's the fair way to do it.
Ms. Walters.
Thank you, Madam President. Council members, I brought this motion to your attention today for the reasons that the city attorney indicated and for reasons that Mr. Deaton indicated. And I would request that the office where these are to be turned in have their clock set at Greenwich Mean Time. One of the things I've noticed here in City Hall is that very seldom or two clocks have the same time. So we ought to decide what is 12 o'clock, and all clocks in City Hall ought to have 12 o'clock.
They probably like the clock in my conference room, which has spent the last 3 weeks getting 15 minutes going, so it'll...
Well, that can be very important when we say 5 o'clock and doors are closed and locked at a particular time in a particular office when it may not be 5 o'clock every place else. So I just would bring that to your attention. I think it's good to give these applicants, give all applicants an opportunity for an extended time to be certain they've got their package together, and that the city can then make its determinations based on that package. And I thank you for all the hard work that you and the committee have put in on this and are about to put in, because I know the reading of them is going to be very difficult.
Well, luckily, that'll be mainly the commission staff.
All right, I think we're ready to vote. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That's approved forthwith on that. All right, next item.
Item number 2, request that matter be continued until April 11th by Council District 10.
All right, item 2 is continued.
Item number 4, request that matter be received and filed. That's from Los Angeles Housing Department and Council District 1.
All right, any problem with that? In that case, item 4 is received and filed.
Items number 14 and 17 are requests from Council District 3 to continue those matters till April 10th.
Okay, is there any objection? Hearing none, they're continued until April 10th.
Item number 1 is an item notice for public hearing.
All right, we do have somebody who wants to be heard on item number 1. Can't read the first name, sorry, Mejia. Mr. Mejia? Ms. Mejia?
Mr., thank you.
Yes, sorry, there you are.
Not a problem.
I wasn't looking at you while I was looking at
That's
this.
John. Yes, thank you, members of the council. Essentially, I just want to answer any questions, if there are any, regarding the project, and we do concur with the report that the conditional use report that was approved by planning. So if there's any questions, I'm just here to answer.
Ms. Mizikowski, we'll find out in a minute. The
Thank you.
public hearing is closed unless we have questions. Ms. Mizikowski.
Move the recommendation to grant the application for determination of public convenience and necessity. This is in Council District 2, but Mr. Wax indicated that his office had been working closely with the applicant and the community. This is a good high-level premium retailer that the CD2 is recommending, so I will make the motion to approve it.
Okay, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That's approved. Thank you,
you.
Mr. Mejia. Sorry you had to wait so long. But it was worth it, right?
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Okay, next item.
Item number 3 is an ordinance.
All right, now, I believe item 3, we have a large number of cards, but I believe we're going to continue that one, aren't we? Okay. And the public hearing, there has been a public hearing. Mr. Pacheco?
Madam President, colleagues, I simply ask that we not continue item 3 without first updating the public on the public toilet process, which is intertwined with this issue, because I can tell you right now that there are people interested to make sure that's going along. So I wanted to make sure that they didn't perceive this as a delay in our public, because they're intertwined.
Okay, do we have somebody here to
Mr. Deaton's
provide an
gonna-
update?
Yeah, Mrs. Deaton is going to give us an update as to where we are in the process in providing these.
And then after he does that, are we
We're gonna-
we're
then we're
then
gonna
going to continue it, just so
Right.
people know? Okay, go ahead.
Very quickly, we have a request for proposal out right now to several bidders for a combination of public toilets, bus shelters, and newsstand racks. Their response is a combination of, the intent is to have roughly 260 public toilets, ultimately 2,500 bus shelters, and we'll work out the numbers on the newsstands as, depending on the proposal. Their proposals are due back the first part of May. We anticipate taking the month of May for analysis and report through to Board of Public Works, and in the month of June will be before the council.
And Madam President, these are the self-cleaning public
Right.
toilets that
Right.
will work on tokens and.
Now, my
Exactly.
notes here show that we're continuing this until July, is that correct?
I would like to continue this for 6 months. I think by the time, as Mr. Deaton has indicated, we have the RFP that will be back with proposals out there, and I think we'll have the chance to select a proposal, a bidder, and really have something on the ground within that time, so then this ordinance would be effective.
So we'll be
That'd
continuing
be
until
October 9th.
October, yeah. October, okay. All right, thanks. So item 3 is going to be continued until October 9th, which brings us to,
To items number 5 through 19, except for 14 and 17 that have already been acted on. Item number 6 requires a motion as much
All
as
right,
there's
no.
3 and 1 file.
well, hold on. These all require public hearings, do they not? We have cards on
Correct.
5, 6, and 7, so we'll call those special. And that leaves us with 8 through 19, with the exception of 14 and 17. Any specials, members of the council?
Did you have a card on 6 or just multiple reports? Because I was going to move the budget and finance report.
I have a card on 6. I have 2 cards on 6.
Okay, fine.
But you can go ahead and make your...
I'll move budget and.
All right. Okay, so 5, 6, and 7 are called special. Any other specials? Seeing no other specials, open the roll on 8 through 13, 15, 16, 18, and 19. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Those are all approved, which brings us to... Back to
Item number 5 called
Back to item
special.
5. All right, item 5 was called special for public hearing. Quincy. Mr. Quincy? Mr. Quincy is not here. In that case, the public hearing is closed. And open the roll on item 5. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
9 ayes, 1 no.
Okay, that's approved. Item 6, we have 2 cards. Mr. Quincy, not here. Todd Hayes, not here. That closes the public hearing on item 6. Open the roll, close the roll on the Budget and Finance Report, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That's approved. Item 7, Melrose Larry Green. He's not here anymore either. All right. In that case, the public hearing on item 7 is closed. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
That is also approved, which I believe completes the agenda except for public comment.
Public comment.
And for public comment, I have Melrose Larry Green, Quincy, and Tut Hayes. I guess they are. Well, in that case, the public comment period is closed, which brings us to the end of the agenda at 5 minutes to 1. All right, do we have anything left? Wait, hold on, we have housekeeping. Do we not?
Adjourning motion?
Did we do the motions for posting and referral and all that stuff?
Motions for posting and referral.
All right, without objection, they are posted and referred. Any more of those?
The desk is clear. set for
Okay,
adjourning
do we
motion.
have any adjourning motions? We do. Yes, you have an announcement.
If it's not too late with regard to item 6, if it is, we can do it on Tuesday. There's been a request from city staff that we not only pass budget, but also the IGR piece on item 6, which urges legislative
All right.
advocacy in
Okay,
Sacramento.
why don't you move to reconsider?
I'll move to reconsider item 6.
For that purpose, okay?
To reflect both of the passage of budget and finance and of IGR.
Okay, is there any objection to reconsideration? On peril of, you watch that, Mark. All right, the item is reconsidered and before us, and now before us in Mr. Feuer's new motion. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
10 ayes.
Okay, just in time, that is approved. All right, would everybody please rise for adjourning motions? Mr. Hernandez.
Madam Chair, members of the council, I think if Councilmember Goldberg would have been here, she'd be making this adjourning motion. It's for one of her constituents. At the same time, I'd be joining her, and I think Councilmember Pacheco would be joining us. I'd like to adjourn today's meeting in the memory of Mentor Huebner. Mentor was a post-impressionist artist, motion picture production illustrator, designer, choreographer of complicated film sequences, an academician, a lecturer, and a writer. He died on March 19, 2001, and he would have been 84 years old. He was a native Californian, born in Boyle Heights, raised in Eagle Rock, attended neighborhood schools, graduated from Eagle Rock High School, and after his marriage to his wife, he spent all his adult life in Mount Washington. His grandfather, Carl Huebner, built one of the first houses in Eagle Rock over 100 years ago. From grandparents to grandchildren, the Mentor family has been residents of Northeast area for 5 generations. Though incredibly poor with scholarships, he basically earned through achievement in sports, boxing, and track and art. Mentor attended the Chouinard Art Institute, did I pronounce that right? As well as the Con Art Institute. Later to go on teaching for 26 years at each in those institutes, as well as other prestigious schools such as UCLA. A prolific artist, he was recognized for his contemporaries as being an icon in 2 fields of artistic endeavor and prolific genius in design. His credits were in 250 featured films, 10 theme parks, and 50 one-man art exhibits. I had the pleasure of seeing one of those exhibits at the Eagle Rock Cultural Center, and I was just blown away when I saw his work. His award-winning work is collected worldwide. The Museum of Modern Art in New York City and the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C. have featured his work and have been part of their national touring exhibits. His painting of President Howard Taft, done for the film Fortune Cookie, is exhibited at the Cleveland Museum of Art. Painting and drawing daily since early childhood until his midlife, he was always sparring with the pros. He worked for every major national and international motion picture studio, 3 continents, from Brooklyn to Bora Bora. A few of Mentor's film designs are The Thing and Robbie the Robot, Blade Runner, Ben-Hur, North by Northwest, The Planet of the Apes, Flash Gordon, Forbidden Planet, Fiddler on the Roof, Daylight Entity, King Kong, King of Gypsies, Beverly Hills Cop 3, Soylent Green, The End of Days, and The Longest Days. This is not someone you expect living in your neighborhood, but that's what Mentor was. He's survived by his wife of 50 years, Louise Hebner, 2 sons, Mentor Jr., who's here present with us today, as well as Gregory Charles Hubner, a daughter, Jessica Lynn, with a wild assortment of grandchildren, ranging from 4 to 21. I just wanted to read this out loud because, again, when I saw his work at the Eagle Rock Cultural Center, I was just so impressed because he was basically a futurist in his thinking. And when you saw the cadre of films, it was his designs that became the basis of a lot of those films and being able to think of what the world would be like. And he was very proud to be an Angelino. And he didn't hesitate to call me. Him and his wife on an ongoing basis would send me notes and remarks. And so he was active at the very local level. And he'll be sorely missed, not only by us, but I think his colleagues in the motion picture industry. And we can all be very proud to say he was an Angelino.
Anybody else? Call the roll. Thank you. We are adjourned. I would have won the pool. It's exactly 1 o'clock.